In this demo, I'll show you how to block agents from accessing sensitive data, but at the same time, allowing those agents the need to access sensitive data. Hi, I am Cio Rodriguez. Here we are at the Microsoft Entra Admin Center. Specifically, we are on the conditional access page. And if we go to policies, I am on the policies link, and here is a list of all the policies that I have in this company. We are going to be looking at this policy that I just created. It's called the um, CO block all agents with exceptions. Again, you could you know obviously name your policy anything you want, um, just to make it easier to find. But find and identify. We are going to assign this policy. So if you click on the assignment, you're going to choose on agents. Agents, it's a new choice that you can do now. So before Agents 365, you could only use users and groups to assign the policies to. Now, if you don't have the proper licensing, you may not be able to see the agents piece over here. But in this case, so anyway, so we're going to choose agents, and we want to include all agents, okay, in the include tab over here. But at the same time, when we click on the exclude tab, we are going to select the agents that we want to exclude from this policy. Again, this policy will block our agents, but we do not want to block these specific agents. You can look at uh, agents uh, based on attributes. So you could, basically apply, um, create like custom security attributes or pre-assigned to them. Or you can look at agents by identity. So in this case, I'm just using the identities of those agents because I know what they are. So if you have a reduced, a number of agents that you know that you want to exclude, that's fine. But if you have many agents and you want to exclude those agents based on attributes, then you would use that part of there. Now, the target resources. So I want to apply this to all resources. This used to be called the all cloud apps, but in this case, again, now it's called all resources. So in other words, I want to apply this to resources. I do not want to exclude any resource, so I want to leave that there. Um, no conditions needed here. Now, in the access control, again, this is a block access policy. So I want to block all agents because I don't want those agents to have access um, to anything, right? Sensitive data. In the enable policy, I'm going to leave this in report only. It is very important that when you are testing a policy, you don't turn on that policy right away. You put it in report mode, you monitor the policy for a couple of days, weeks, depending on the policy. And then once you are sure that this policy is doing its what it's supposed to do, then you can turn it on. And of course, you can turn it off if something happens, and but most of the time, report only mode is the best choice because at least you get activity of what's going on. If you turn it off, well, the policy is completely off and you won't see anything. So anyway, so that policy has been created. And again, creating the policy, it's really easy. You just click on, um, the name of the policy. Here you would choose, again, instead of the users in group, you want agents and you want all agents. And you want to exclude agents here. And as I said, you can select agent identities based on attributes. So, you would have to type in the attribute. You can type in an expression, and that can you can it can get very complex. That's normally in very big companies that have many agents, and you want to make sure that you don't block the some agents. But in this case, since we have uh, only a few agents and we know what those are, then we can go ahead and do that. And we could also look at agent principles and agent identities, but in this case, we're going to choose all, and we want to exclude all these. So you would choose those or whatever it is that you want, and so here you'll see that. Then when you go to the grant control access component here, again, this is a block access. So you're going to block that, and you're going to leave on report only, and then you click on create, and that's it. We're not going to do that because we already did that. But basically what you're doing with this is creating a policy. I've heard many companies, many talking to many CISOs and many cybersecurity um, managers, and the main concern is, okay, but how do I block? How do I know that agents are not accessing sensitive information? How do I want to be sure of that. So this is a great place to start. So before you even enable agents or allow agents, or when you are in the process of um, letting agents come into your environment, you can come in and create a conditional access policy and block all agents, and just allow the agents so that you can get a feel. And then once the companies become more mature and you are, you know, you trust the environment and the things that are being done, and you have a handle on this agent, that you can modify this. But this is a great way to do that. Another thing that you could do here is to just block high risk agents. Instead of blocking all agents, you can block only high risk agents, those agents that um, maybe are doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, or agents that are over permissioned. So this is another great policy. So again, you would come in, you um, name your policy, and then here you would choose the agents component again, all agents, and we're not excluding anything because this is based on risk now. When it comes to resources, we're going to choose all resources. Um, and again, we're not going to exclude anything. Now, in the condition, this is in the conditions, this is the things that changes over here. When we go into the agent risk, um, you are going to choose high. So first of all, you need to configure this. So you would say yes. And then here you would configure risk levels needed for a policy to be enforced. And in this case, it's only high. So if the risk is low or medium, that this won't do anything. So this is a risk-based access control policy. And so that's that. And then again, what you want to do again, it's block, but it's only going to block those agents that um, are deemed to pose a high risk. And then there you go. So that's another way that you can do that. All right, so I'm not going to do this policy has already been done. So we don't need to save this. And then, so once you have those policies in place, then you can come into the ID protection, this component right here, and you can go into risky agents. Let's go into the dashboard. And then here you will see those risky agents. I don't have any agents actually in this tenant, and therefore I don't have any risky agent either. But if an agent does anything and is deemed risky or high risk agent, then you will see those agents right here. And again, so you can take a look at this right here. This is a new component in this report, so you can look at specifically as at risky agents, and then you can do a number of things, whether it is block or block the agent and see what's going on, and then investigate further to see why the agent is risky. I mean, there are many reasons why an agent becomes risky, but anyway, so these are two great policies that will give you peace of mind when it comes to agents interacting, maybe using sensitive data in your environment. Well, thanks for watching. That's all for now. I hope that this has been informative.